How do you get more Instagram followers organically so you can finally build that targeted and highly engaged audience for your business in 2019? My name is Jelena Ostrovska from JelenaOstrovska.com, and in this video I'm going to share with you 6 different strategies that you can utilize right now to grow a really engaged following on your Instagram account. So if you're building a business, or you are a fashion blogger, or you're a makeup artist, this is going to help you out big time. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into this. So you have to keep in mind that the strategies that used to work in 2014, they're no longer effective in 2019, right? So I started my Instagram account back in 2014, where we had all kinds of automation and softwares and lots of different things that eventually got shut down. So you definitely do not want to be using any sort of automation softwares. There are some that are legit, but honestly, you can grow organically without having to pay for anything. Okay, even like not for the ads. Okay, so you don't have to be using the ads to grow an engaged following. You can build everything organically. So number one, so you need to create high quality content for your niche. Okay, so, and niche is the key phrase right here. You have to understand that you're not going to grow an Instagram account if it is all over the place. If you're talking about everything and everybody, it's not going to work out this way. You have to have a niche account that people will want to go into, like as a go-to person in your particular niche, right? So if you are into makeup, it has to be just about makeup. If you're into travel, it has to be just a travel account. If it's a financial account, it just has to be a financial account. If it's a brand account, you know, you're building a personal brand, it has to be about your personal brand and what you bring to the marketplace with that brand. And high quality content and captions actually do matter a lot. So keep that in mind, because so many people told me, you know, like, oh, on Instagram you can get away with short captions and everything is going to be good. No, these days Instagram gives you, I believe, 2,000 characters, okay, for a caption. So they encourage you to use that space, right? So you have to, you know, get a little bit more creative. And if you really want to build that following that's going to care about you and what you bring to the table, then you have to stand out from your competition. Because if your competition is only creating short status updates and you see that there is, you know, space in your niche to where you can, you know, squeeze in and stand out from everybody else, then that's going to be your, you know, unique selling proposition. It's going to be like something that's going to, like, it's going to be your differentiator factor, right? So make sure that you use the space and create high quality content, because short captions, they're just going to make you look lazy a lot of the times. But you know, here's the thing, I totally do use short captions. I mean, not always, but you know, sometimes, maybe like a couple times a week, but generally I try to make it like a mini blog post, like a mini article. So treat your captions like a mini article. So, and something that people would get tremendous amount of value, something either that's going to be like a mindset hack if you're a business owner, something that's going to be either you're going to be doing a makeup tutorial, so you would list all the products that you're using. If you are building a travel account, then again, you can share some, you know, travel hacks. If you're, you know, positioning yourself as an educational type of Instagram account, so keep that in mind. You know, captions definitely do matter, so you do need to put some effort and attention into them, and also break them down, right? So like, you know, find different, you know, tools, and I'm most likely going to do a separate video on that. You know, use different tools to break down your text so it's going to be easier for people to read, because you want them to hit see more right now. Okay, so captions and high quality content. Okay, so number 2, audience building. Okay, so this is where, you know, your hard work is going to come in, because you do need to do your research, right? So you need to go and find out who is the big influencer in your particular niche. Okay, so who is your ideal client? You have to understand that, and who do they follow? Okay, so where do they already hang out? Because if you know that your perfect customer avatar is hanging out on Instagram, then you have to realize, okay, so what accounts do they follow, right? So who are the influencers in my niche? So you have to go and follow those influencers, and then start interacting, start participating in conversations, start participating in the comments, start replying to other people's comments. Because chances are, if your idol or the influencer in your niche, if they have 1 million followers and they get, thousands of comments per post, there's a really high chance that they're not going to be replying to every single comment, right? So Instagram allows you to reply to those comments these days, right? That feature wasn't available, several years ago. So now you can participate in conversations and engage with those people, because what's going to happen? We all are going to get, we all get notifications if you like somebody else's comments, if you reply to their comments. And what do we naturally do as humans? We go and we check that person out, right? So we do go and check out, who's this Mary person who just liked and replied to my comment, right? So we all act pretty much in the same way. I know when somebody likes my comment on Instagram, I'm always going to go and check out that person and see, what they're all about. So that is your chance to stand out on Instagram, because if you're not going to be showing up where your perfect audience is hanging out at, then you're just going to be invisible. And that's not something that you want to have on Instagram. So make sure that you do research not only influencers, but also hashtags. Okay, so figure out, find about 30 different hashtags, maybe more, that you can go into and see what people are posting about, what kind of, stories are showing up at the top of the hashtag, because that is one of the most untapped places is, stories under the hashtags. And I will touch on this in just a second in this video, but make sure to start going through those posts, start interacting with them, start liking them, start engaging with them, and look through the top posts and also look through the recent posts, because obviously the top posts are the ones that are getting high engagement, and they're basically ranking for a particular keyword. And the recent posts, are the recent posts, nothing really to talk about. So the recent posts as well is the people who are trying to get more visibility. So again, start thinking like your customer, okay? So if my ideal client, what kind of hashtags are they going to be using? What kind of things are they into? Are they into travel? Are they into makeup? Are they into skydiving? Are they into any particular, I don't know, even TV shows or books? Think about what kind of hashtags are they going to be using in their posts, and then you can go in and connect with them like that. Because through hashtags, you can find millions of people, okay? So you're not going to have a struggle of, where do I find the people, to talk to about my business opportunity. So that is number 2. Number 3 is engagement, okay? So, and that goes both ways. Like I mentioned, if you go to somebody else's Instagram account, make sure that you engage with them, make sure that you interact with their content, make sure that you not only like the content, but you also leave a meaningful comment, not something like a bunch of emojis or not something, non-personal, but actually take the time to read the content. And I know it's going to take some time. I mean, it definitely takes me, about 45 minutes a day minimum to do that, but that is something that's going to really contribute to your long-term growth. So it's all about that, consistency on a daily basis. So, do spend that time, read through the post, skim through the post if you are on a time crunch, and, leave a meaningful comment that people would actually want to reciprocate with. Because, that's how Instagram works. It's a community of people. It's not just people leaving a bunch of comments. It's, if you go to any of the big influencers posts, you're gonna see that there are conversations going on, right? So there's people replying to each other's comments. So I encourage you to do the exact same thing, because that's how you can get more visibility. That's how you can get more followers on Instagram in 2019. And the same thing applies to engagement on your posts, okay? So whenever you put out a piece of content, make sure the very first thing that you do throughout throughout the very first 30 minutes to an hour is engage with the comments, okay? So I always make sure that if I get a spike of comments in the first 30 minutes to 60 minutes, then I'm gonna make sure that I reply, because that's going to be counted as an extra comment. So let's say if I get 5 comments in the first 30 minutes and I reply to each of them, that's gonna be 10 comments. So Instagram is going to push my content higher in the newsfeed. That way, I'm gonna get even higher and, bigger visibility for my content. So always think about, those little details that are going to make a huge difference in the long term for your Instagram growth. Number 4, make sure that you use Instagram stories, okay? So when it comes to content creation, I generally recommend for people, to post at least once a day. So, and make sure that it is quality content, because if you're going to be going and posting 3 to 5 times a day on Instagram, surely that can work, but you would need to have a team who's going to manage that content for you, right? So you would need either an agency or an assistant or somebody who's going to help you distribute all that content and even create that content, right? So I recommend, if you're a solopreneur, make sure that you just start out with one piece of content a day. And just focus on that in the beginning. And I also did a video earlier on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna link it up right here, where I showed you a tool that you can use in order to plan a month worth of content in just a single day for your Instagram account. So be sure to check that out. I'm gonna link it down below in the comments as well, in the description. But when it comes to stories, make sure that you use them, because I encourage you to use the entire platform, because that's what Instagram has to offer. It has so many different features that a lot of entrepreneurs are just not using, like Instagram Live, Facebook, Instagram Stories. So make sure that you start utilizing all of it, because Instagram wants you to use the platform, right? So it's going to boost your visibility in general if you show the platform that you care about all the features out there. Right, so make sure that you start using Instagram Stories. I do recommend using them, like several times a day. I mean, usually I try to make sure that I either share some tips or I share, like different, I don't know, like what's on my mind or behind the scenes or what I'm up to, or if I'm traveling, like I'm always going to share something. But make sure that you use Instagram Stories, and I'm most likely going to do a separate training on those, how to use them, how to make them most effective, how to make sure that your audience is interacting with you, because here's the big benefit of Instagram Stories that you definitely want to use. Not only create your own, but interact with other people's stories, is it's all going to be going into DM, which is direct message. And you want to make sure that you're connected with your audience on a one-on-one basis, especially when you're just starting out. And that is going to be done through just regular networking and messaging, right? So, which is a huge, huge plus, because in the beginning, you can't expect to blow up on Instagram without, high touch. Number 5, make sure that you connect with other influencers, okay? So I've already mentioned this briefly, like in the beginning of this video, but you can go for different levels of influencers, okay? So you can find some that are like the biggest in your particular niche, and make sure that you start interacting with their content and start, engaging with them and sharing their content, show them that you actually care about what they do, so they can start, like noticing you and your name, okay? So, and obviously it's very hard to get their attention just in general, but you have to like stay consistent with it. And also make sure you find other influencers who are a little bit smaller, where you can maybe create some JV partnerships, right? So joint venture partnerships, where you can either do some kind of video together and you can basically cross promote each other and figure out what's going to be a win-win situation for both of you. Either you're going to promote one of their products and they're going to give you an affiliate link, or you're going to do an Instagram live together and you're going to invite both of your audiences. So think of creative ways how you can do that. But again, when it comes to connecting with other influencers, you have to bring some value to them in order for them to pay attention. So think about it. Either you want to buy some of their books, or maybe you bought one of their courses, or maybe you, have gone to one of their events or something like this, depending on what they're doing, right? But make sure that you start, if you want to connect with big influencers, think about what kind of value can I bring to them so they actually pay attention to me. And usually it's not going to be that hard, especially if the influencer is not like in millions of followers kind of range, because those are very, very hard to reach. But start reaching some smaller ones so you can find, start, building and nurturing that relationship, and then seeing where that's going to go. And last but not least, number 6 is DMs. Okay, so I've already mentioned that a little bit briefly, but make sure that you are using that feature, which is direct messaging, because here's something I'm using and here's something I'm doing as well. So whenever I have a new follower, I make sure that I send them a personal message, and I also check out their content, and I do all the social activities, just to make sure that they get notified that I actually do pay attention to what they're sharing. And then we can start building a connection, and then we can start nurturing our relationship and, seeing, how we can mutually benefit each other. Either I'm gonna find out some of their needs. Either they are a follower of mine and they're looking for some help when it comes to they have some sort of struggles that my content helps them feel. Okay, so, and again, like start connecting with more people through direct messaging, because that's going to be one of the biggest ways how you can grow on Instagram, especially starting out. Obviously, as you grow, it's going to be really difficult to reach out to all of the messages and reply to everybody on time if you have hundreds of messages sliding into your DM. But in the beginning, it's not going to be as many, so start incorporating that one-on-one connection with people, because that's really going to help you grow on Instagram in 2019. So there you go. Those are all the tips that I got for you when it comes to getting organic followers on Instagram in 2019. If you got some value, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this, and hit the bell sign to get notified whenever I publish new content, which is every single week. If you got any particular questions that you about Instagram, drop them below into the comment section. Let me know if you want me to do a specific video about any particular strategy, or if you have any concerns about Instagram, or anything related to Instagram or something else. So let me know into the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.